Last year, I became a better photographer. Not because I bought new gear, not because I traveled the world, not because I followed trends, but because I changed a very few simple habits. None of them are fancy, but every single one changed how I see light, how I shoot, and honestly, how I think as a creative. Today, I want to share the 5 habits that generally change everything for me this past year. Not rules, not shortcuts, but just practices that compound quietly until one day you realize, oh, I see differently now and I improved. Bonjour! Welcome back to your home for your creativity and your well-being. Habit 1. Practice, practice, practice. The first one is the least glamorous, but probably the most powerful. There was this moment last summer. I was out photo shooting, not for a job, not for content, just walking, camera in hand. I framed a shot, clicked, and then, suddenly realized I didn't even think about where the light was coming from. A year earlier, I used to overanalyze everything, which is normal, or mainly didn't really understand how the photo did or didn't work. Now, decisions were automatics. I'm not saying it's always the case, obviously, but it's happening more and more. And this is what repetition does. The more you photograph, the faster you will understand light, the more confident you're gonna become guiding your subjects. Guiding people felt quite impossible for me before. Creativity stops feeling like an effort, but really starts feeling like instinct, and this is where you can produce your best work. But here's the uncomfortable part. Sometimes the fastest way to grow is to do something you don't like. Do a type of photography you don't like. I always avoided studio portraits, not because they're bad, just because they never called me, and to be completely honest, they still don't really resonate in my creative soul. So I know that this will never be like my main style. But one day I forced myself. I booked a small studio, asked a friend to model, and honestly, I kind of hated the first 10 minutes. Also, I even forgot to switch off the ceiling light, which is such a beginner move to do. But it happened. But then something started to switch, in a single session. First of all, that was not perfect and I still have a lot to learn, but I've learned more about lighting. Mainly, I knew what skills I was lacking of. That was the main thing. The photo shoot were not great, but I knew what skills I had to learn. When you do something that you dislike, you train a completely different part of your brain, of your creativity, and also of your ego. And sometimes it quietly feeds back into the work you love the most. Learn to edit your photo yourself. I used to rely on presets. Not a lot, but let's say without even understanding them. And one day, one preset completely ruined the tone of a photo, and I just realized something quite uncomfortable. I didn't know why. I didn't know how to modify it. So I went back to the basics, contrast, curves, HSL, color grading. Not to retouch more, but to actually retouch less and to understand. Because once you know why an image reacts to certain adjustments, you start photo shooting differently, and you can edit differently as well to bring really what you want out of the photo. I know a lot of people will agree with this, I know some people will disagree, but for me really the editing is not the second step of photography, it's half of it. It's like when you talk about film. The music is so important, it's not after, it's completely part of the movie. Art direction is key. I was a full-time art director for 8 years between Paris and London before being freelance. So yes, I'm a bit biased, but I also think this perspective is deeply missing in photography education, and that's why I'm here on YouTube to share all my real human experience for the past 10 years. There was this shoot where everything just clicked. The outfit, location, colors, the makeup, the people. The secret wasn't really the camera. It was definitely the planning and the pre-production. For me, a good photographer doesn't just capture. Obviously, it depends what project you have. Sometimes you're just requested to photograph a particular thing, but when there is a bit of creativity to it, a photographer designs the scene, colors matter, wardrobe matters, the setting matters, the intention matters, the target audience matters. The photo starts way before you press the button. And this last habit, it's a cheat code. Study the color wheel. I used to look at my photo and say, something feels off, but I don't know why. This is so frustrating. Once I've studied basic color harmony, everything made more sense. Complementary colors create contrast. Analogous color creates calm. Color temperature changes emotion. Understanding this really saved me hours of editing and made my images feel more intentional. Color isn't decoration. It's communication. It's like in fashion or the way you dress. It is a skill why things works, why it doesn't work, why this looks fancy and elegant, why this looks cheap. And before we finish, there is one bonus habit that quietly changed my eye forever. Build a feedback habit, not from friends. Friends will often say, "That looks great," because they're kind and also maybe they mean it, of course, but growth needs honesty. And I feel like it's so much easier to have honesty from people that you're not really close to. You don't need mean or harsh feedback, of course, but constructive feedback reveals blind spots. Of course, it's humbling, but it's fuel, and you don't even have to take it, you choose. But at least hear it. You have the choice, and you will grow from there. So if you apply even one of these habits, you'll grow. All 5, you might surprise yourself. And a year from now, you may look back and think, whoa, I take photos differently now. And that's the whole point. If you want to go deeper into how art, cinema, and live performance shape stronger photography, you can watch this video at the end of this one, or the link is in the description. This is where I teach you how to look at those and gather inspiration and be a better photographer. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and like and comment, because my goal is to connect with you and grow this channel for you. And otherwise, I'll see you next week for a new video.